Hello, first tonight, the terrifying moment when a gang of armed men shot a builder in his own home and fled.
Now, we think they were after money, but we know they got the wrong man. We think the target was a son of the injured man. We know he wasn't even at home at the time, and we still don't know if the attack was carried out by 3 or 4 men. Joe Black is in the village of Lilley in Hertfordshire now.
Stuart, it's over 24 hours since that shooting at this house behind me, and tonight we have a distraught family with a father lying injured in hospital. This house, a major crime scene, and of course a neighbourhood that is still trying to make sense of it all. I spent the day in Lilley today talking to some of the local residents and the police to find out just what happened here and why it happened here. The quiet village of Lilley and armed robberies don't really go hand in hand. Today, residents on Rurley Dell Road tried to carry on as normal, but there was a common theme to their conversations.
I had they screeched the cars and they woke me up. So I looked out the window, all I could see was a load of police everywhere, and the police helicopter above.
You know, it's a shame that this has happened in our street, because you never know when it's going to happen or where it's going to happen. But when it comes to your street, it's a shock to everybody in the street, literally.
Forensics teams and officers have spent all day at this property. It looks like any regular family home. But the horror that unfolded here yesterday afternoon saw a 43-year-old father shot at least twice. He now has what police describe as life-changing injuries.
He received 2 gunshot wounds, one to the stomach and one to the buttock. He received emergency treatment at hospital last night after being airlifted from the scene.
At home with his wife and one of his sons, a masked gang armed with a handgun came to steal several £1,000s. After a struggle, the man was shot. The police believe this was a targeted attack and not a random shooting, but also say the father was not the gang's intended victim. One of his sons was.
What is the motive for this? You don't know? You think it's drugs? You think it's money? What are we saying?
We haven't ruled anything out or anything in at the moment, but a serious line of inquiry is that these people came here knowing the occupants have got some money. They've come here to rob them of that money, and there's a struggle ensued, and the firearm has gone off as a result.
Police say the offenders made off in a silver estate car, and tonight, with the gang still at large, witnesses are being urged to come forward. Well, you heard in my report me say the man had life-changing injuries. That's a description given to us by the police. And when I asked whether he would be disabled as a result of what happened to him, they said it's far too early to say. He did have an operation on his groin area today to remove a bullet, and apparently that has gone extremely well. Just a quick description of the offenders before I go. We understand that there are 3 or possibly 4 masked men wearing balaclavas. At least one of them is thought to be white. At least one of them is thought to be black or of mixed race. They got away, like I said in that report, in a silver estate. So anyone with any information is being urged to come forward, and should you need it, the incident room telephone number is 01707 355 798.
Joe, thank you very much.
You'd think we'd be getting used to it by now, but once again, rush hour snow is starting to cause problems. It started falling in Northamptonshire early this afternoon. Parts of Cambridgeshire and Norfolk are also getting a covering. Emma Bohr is in Kettering now. Emma.
Yes, the snow has well and truly arrived, especially here in Northamptonshire. We're on the side near to the A14 at Kettering, and it's certainly this county that has borne the brunt of the poor weather, as you can see in these pictures. And it's a part of a band of weather, and it's been travelling through Northamptonshire to north-east Cambridgeshire and into north-west Norfolk. And the worst affected areas will be getting about 8 centimetres tonight, and it's really brought some quite treacherous road conditions. We've got a little travel report here. We're hearing that the M1 northbound between Daventry and Milton Keynes, that's looking particularly bad. It was slow after an early accident, and the weather isn't helping at all. And then we've also got the A14 junction at 1 and 2, both ways. That's looking particularly bad. We've also been in touch with the A1, with the police in Cambridgeshire, and they're saying that the A1 is looking particularly bad. and they're also saying that all of the Fenland roads aren't looking very nice at all. So the roads really are looking treacherous. We're here in a car park here, and you can see just how bad the conditions are getting. So, but if you want a latest travel update, just tune in to your BBC local radio stations. They will have all of the details.
OK, Emma, thank you.
And of course we'll have a full weather forecast with Jim later in the programme. This region has become a winner again on the National Lottery, scooping £1.5 million to spend on sport in the countryside. The latest research shows that people who live in country areas are less likely to have easy access to sporting facilities. 10 projects across the country have been awarded the money, 5 in this region.
It was a misty morning on the lake at Whitlingham in Norfolk, but the message could not have been more clear. People who live in the sticks don't do nearly enough sport. Isolated from opportunities and facilities, we're in the wilderness.
I'm going to talk to you about the basics, and then it's down to you to work out how you're doing that. All right?
According to Sport England, 2/3 of local authorities with the lowest participation rates in sport are in rural areas, which is why of the 10 projects being funded across the country to the tune of £10 million, 5 of them are in this region. It's a simple plan to solve a basic problem: identify need and feed it with cash, and lots of it. Norfolk is the big winner today. The county is getting more than £500,000 to stage a village games, a mini Olympics if you like, with 100 village teams taking part.
We can see here today we've got archery, we've got tug of war, there'll be some more traditional sports like badminton, netball, things like that, and we'll also be doing some consultation around, you know, what activities people actually want to do. So there'll be the traditional and there'll be the more diverse things as well.
Increased travelling distance to a sports facility means more time and more cost. So the fact that we've given opportunity to local people to say what would help in their local and rural community is the crucial issue.
The village of Old in Northamptonshire has picked up £24,000 today to build a new hall for locals to play sport. The old hall is long past its best. It may be a small grant, but when the call came from Sport England, it was more like a call from Camelot.
We are absolutely delighted. We've been fundraising for the new village hall in Old for about 5 years now, and this last money from Sport England is the final piece of the jigsaw that we need.
Rural Huntingdonshire has won £250,000, 2 Bedford projects will share £174,000, and cycling in Suffolk is spinning with a windfall of nearly £400,000.
And what we need in the eastern region is more facilities for cycling, and that doesn't mean just cycleways, it means perhaps tracks and circuits for us to race on, because there are none at all in the eastern region.
Today's news is underlined by London 2012. It's all part of the master plan to get more people doing sport. That was the promise, and it's hoped that raining cash on the eastern hinterlands will go a long way to making sure it's kept. Sean Peel, BBC Look East.
Well, later in the programme, the amateur politicians hoping to beat the big guns at the next general election. And a closer look at the history of the world.